So that's our main leak right here. So what we're gonna end up having to do is getting this nut here off. There's gonna be a set screw somewhere in here, so I'm gonna have to clean this section here off. Find where that set screw is, or a grub screw. It's more than likely gonna be on the back side because that's just my luck. We're gonna unscrew this, get it off, and we gotta remove this keeper pin here, remove this pin, and then pull the whole shaft out together. But the first thing we're gonna have to do here so we can get the chain wrench around here is, let's get this door off. Let me grab a rag. All right, now let's find it. I don't actually see it. All right, let me get my phone, and then I'm gonna take a photo of the back side of this, see if I can't locate it. But usually there's gonna be a grub screw in here to prevent that from turning. There it goes. Apparently there's no grub screw on this one. This is a 24-inch. I got it off of Amazon. It's made by Carrington, 24-inch chain. Net weight 8 pounds. Feels like it weighs more than 8 pounds. Well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Alright, so to protect the shaft here, bring that up there, So sitting right here, so right behind the threads. So this whole piece here is going to have to get popped out, and so the next thing to do is remove this screw. Then we'll get this shaft pulled out, and then we'll flip it over. Dang it, I forgot the crowbar. So we got her out. That seal is absolutely trashed. I'm gonna have to get a come along or something to get this out. by the way. I do have a bucket down there, but that's still just a messy job. So the main thing we want to do right now is protect the shaft from this as we carry it back over to the shop. It's about a 1.5 inch. This thing has been rebuilt before. It's got the split washer right there with the oval underneath. This is a split guide right there. So basically the only reason that we're repairing this right now is for this seal right here. So we have to take this off. This is a bolt that goes into here, and then we'll go ahead, get it reassembled and bring it back out and put it back in. Wow. That ain't coming. Ugh. I need the adapter. So finally got it off. I missed the footage, unfortunately, but get your nut off. And I accidentally boogered this up, so I'm going to get a file and file that down to make sure that that doesn't get into my hydraulic system. But yeah, it looks like there's some kind of indentation on there. But so we'll set this here, and for video purposes here, the big sleeve goes to the back of the cylinder. So we'll set it this way. And now, super careful not to damage this middle shaft. I'm gonna have to get a mallet. So let's put this over here and then try to protect the cylinder as much as possible. There it goes. All right. Set that off. Start getting these things cleaned up. They look in pretty good shape. And the threads are pretty good. There's no major issues or scoring or anything in there, so I'll set that off to the side. So this ring right here is the main reason that we're replacing this today. So thankfully on our kits, all of them are exactly the same. So here's your diagram. The lip seal we'll take a look at the instructions here, and then we'll continue on here in just a second. All right, so I don't know if you can see in here, but these are absolutely tore up. Yeah, they're disintegrated. Pretty sure these things are aftermarket, but yeah, they're just popping out. All right, so there's one. I believe that was this one here. Let's get all that cleared out. This is just disgusting. completely disintegrated. Oh, there is another. The small one is in there. Alright, so now we got that out. Here's that lip. We'll just work that all the way around. So as you can see right here, there's a metal ring that goes all the way around the bottom of it, and that's the outside of this seal right here. So you're seeing what I'm playing with right here is this metal seal. So that sits down in here. So I just got to go in there and work this out. And I tried to get it to separate from this edge. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but let me pull it out and you might be able to see. So we definitely don't want to damage this edge here. So what I'm trying to do is just get it to work up and pop out. All right, so it's the next morning. All the stores were closed last night, so I had to give up. I went and got one of these tool kits. They're just picks. So we'll continue on getting this clean. That works much better. And it gives you several different options of different picks. So one of the issues I was having with is this was spinning on me. And so I wasn't able to get the... Alright, so GoPro. I had 30% left on my battery and it died. So anyways, it was giving me a fit, so I went ahead and put it in the vise. And I've got it with the towel on here, and it's just barely held in there. So what I ended up doing was I took the two picks, went in at an angle, and was able to roll it underneath. And caught it. And you can kind of see... That's the third ring back there. So now I'll go ahead and try to pick the rest of it out. This thing is super brittle, old and stubborn. I've been fighting with it for a while. But now what we'll end up doing is bring that over here to this temporary wash bin and getting everything cleaned out. So all I'm doing is washing it out and then running these around, making sure that there's no particles left inside. I wish I had the parts cleaner with me, but when you break down in the field, you do what you do. So I've got to say that I would not attempt this job with just screwdrivers again. It would be mandatory that I go ahead and get picks ahead of time. This would have saved me a ton of time. I was stupid to try and do this job without it. All right, now that I got her somewhat cleaned up, we'll go ahead and dry it off with a rag. And then need to check all these grooves for any remnants, and then we'll give it one final cleaning. So we got some kind of rust, or I don't know if it's some kind of material on here. So I'll go ahead and get some emery cloth and polish that up before we put it back together. Mostly just trying to get this thing clean. Get all the, you can see it's like mining for gold here. All the pieces that were still left in there from the broken seals. Got that piece. Make sure that this is clean too. We don't want to reintroduce any contaminants into our hydraulic system. Grab one of my dirty towels here. So I'm actually really surprised on this dozer that there's no grubbing screw. A lot of the times they'll drill into here and put a set screw to prevent these from backing off. And on this one here, it doesn't actually have it. All right, so we got that cleaned up, set it off to the side. So the last one we got to deal with here is this the piston. So this part just pops off. And you got your flat seal on the outside. And this one actually is broken in the middle. It comes, some of these come like this. It's like a piston ring. Some of them are actually complete bands. And then this is a two-part right here. There's a washer underneath it, so I just stab it and rotate it out. Unfortunately, it's really cold this morning, so everything's being a little difficult. So like the round one goes on first, and then the flat one goes on afterwards. But first we'll go ahead and get this one cleaned up. Get the old parts up here. Just checking it for any damage and wear. Everything still feels smooth. And when you're reassembling this can only go one way, so you can't get it backwards. So this piston in here is actually the easiest one to redo. The only thing that you can really screw up on this one here is get the flat one on first, but it's not going to sit in there well, so you don't really have to worry about this one. All right. All right, so the first thing I do is I'm gonna clean off a workspace so there's no contaminants getting in there. And this is the actual cat kit. Yes, they're expensive, but here's the part number. This does one actual seal, or one cylinder, one seal kit for one cylinder. So you can see here that, like the other one, this snap ring goes on afterwards, and then the original seal, you can just, actually there's still some stuff in there. Let me clean up this groove. I don't like that. I thought that I had gotten all of it. All right. So your inner seal, just roll it in. And your snap ring, be gentle with them. You don't want to pop them, but make sure that when they go in, they kind of just overlap to each other and they sit flush. And then you got your wear sleeve. Same thing. Definitely don't want to break this. And then, as you can see, it will only go on one way. Can't go on backwards. So we'll set that off to the side. Double check this one here. So I'm gonna have to check to see which way this seal goes in. It can go this way or this way. And it's one's got a beveled edge, one's got more of a lip here. So I got to see which way this one goes. Then this is the one that gave me the hell a few minutes ago. And yeah, so let me read the instructions and I'll get right back with you. All right, so the instructions call for the 1A and 1B to be installed first. And the way that this is reading here is it's sitting this way here. The cylinder goes over this way, so this is going to go in, and then the piston ring sits back behind it. So this is how it's going to look on the directions, and you can see it right here. So it calls for this one here to go first, and the white ring to go towards the face of it. So it sits like this. So what we'll end up doing is getting this blue seal in first, and it's this second ring in. So here's where the lip seal comes. Then you got your first your larger gasket, and then this one here goes in first. So this is somewhat flexible. It sure was a pain getting out. All right, so we got that one in, and push it all the way down. Now we can get the white ring, and it goes, just work it in and around. All right, so that one is good to go. Now we've got to install backup ring. 1B, so we're on 2. Install the U-cup seal 2 in the head. Install the seal with the open end of the U facing toward the piston end of the cylinder. So the piston end of the cylinder, got to keep in mind, is back here. So on your open end of the ring versus the closed end, so the open ring goes to the back side of the piston, so make sure that your open side goes backwards. Again, we're just gonna it's nice and cold this morning, so everything is wanting to be difficult. If I had been smart, I would have kept these inside overnight. So I'm going to take the blunt end and try to push it into place. I would not use your sharp end to manipulate these seals at all. There it goes. So we just got a little bit of this seal left to go. And it just takes some patience to work the different sides in. Unfortunately, it rolled on me, so I'm gonna have to use this to try to push it in. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm just using the flat blade to push it in and see if I can't get that seal to roll over into place. All right. That took some patience, but still not much time. These seals are incredibly sensitive, so you definitely don't want to damage anything. So just take your time, be patient. So now we've got those two main ones here. All right, so it's saying to scuff this up. We've already done that. It says use some emery cloth up here for your center bore. So it says clean the counter bore in the head outside diameter 3A. So that's 3A, that's this outside. And this one here. It says clean the center bore and the metal shell until neither of the components discolor with clean white towel. Now you don't want to use any caustic chemicals like a brake cleaner on these seals because it will actually break it down. So you have to use a special cleaner on those. All right, so I've got the outside edge of this prepped and I've got this prepped. Now this only goes one way, and you can tell one if you read very carefully. It says outward stamped in there. I know you can't see it. I can barely see this. I had to get a flashlight and go at it from an angle. But the key is right there, is that hole. If that were facing outwards, you'd have all the oil from this lip seal drain into the surface, and you don't want that. So how you know you got it in the correct direction is if that seal is there, it's going to drain inward to the outside, or to the inside of it. So just make sure that your orientation for that that hole, I don't know if you can see it there, it's up there by my finger. Get towards the, oh, there's two of them, that's why I'm confused. So these two holes go to the inside. So, as you can see, it's in a little bit of cattywampus, so I've got it slightly off center to go ahead and get it centered, and then now it's actually flat. So, give it a little bit of pressure, get it centered up. She is flush. All right, so the last thing that we have to do is the seal right here. And as we're looking at it, that's the front of the cylinder. So the cylinder rod comes out there. The white seal goes on first, and then the rubber seal goes on back. Now with this kit, there's actually two sizes. It was a little confusing to me at first, but the main thing is that there's a slight difference in size. So know which one you need to go on. My issue is here that when this goes on, it's way too loose. That was the first one I grabbed and it confused me because I didn't know why there was two. I thought I just got extras. So that is not the case. That's a tight lip, actually. So I'm just going to rotate it over with the edge of this so it stands upright, and then it's your smaller O-ring. Well, for mine, on the seal that I'm replacing today, it's the smaller one. There's still a little bit of contaminants on here. I'm going to emery cloth that again. I thought I got it all, but try not to grind down into it. But regardless, the orientation that we have is the seal. So the white seal goes first per the instructions, then your O-ring seal, and then again this piece here goes behind it, and it only goes one way. So the last thing I got to do is clean up a little bit of this rust, and then lubricate everything and get it bolted back up, of course. So let me get this clean and I'll be right back with you. Make sure you put your nut on first and in the correct orientation. And then your primary seal. So that seal is on. And so why I was doing it like that is so I can actually watch to make sure I didn't roll any of the seals when I put it on. It's a little unnecessary, but still good precaution. Again, this only goes on in one orientation. And then one thing I need to do here is get the file back out and take off some of these edges. Alright, so not my smartest choice using this. I actually bent this out. It's only 1/4 inch steel. That was a stupid decision. So not too bad. It still fatigues it a little bit. That is every bit of stupid tacks right there. I didn't even think about that. I didn't think that I'd bend that like that. So next time we'll come up to here to the 1/2 inch. We'll put that pin that we used earlier through here to get it. So hope we didn't do any damage. Oh, it's not lining up. So that will be fun. I'm gonna have to make some adjustments to get this to line up. I'll have to get a bar put in here and try to twist it. Let me get that cleaned up. I don't exactly like how it feels, but it's still clean. All right. All right, persuasion stick. Before we get too far in, get this straight enough up and down. Okay, so now all we got to do is bleed these. So it's just snug, and then back it off a little bit. And so this one's tight. So what we'll end up doing here is, actually I need to reverse that. Because as we raise, the fluid's gonna come through here, into here, and push backwards. So we're gonna bleed this back line here. Let me get some of these tools out of the way. And then the one last thing we got to do before we start it up is get it tightened up. All right. All right, she's out of oil again. So let's fill her up. All right. So we got the dozer moved over here. We're at the pond that we've been digging, and the last thing we got to do before we make that pile is to go ahead and top her up. So here's the sight gauge for the D3s. Got to make sure that it's full. Get all the water, and don't want any water or dirt in our hydraulic system that we just cleaned out. So we've already put 10 gallons in, and we're going to keep going until it's in the sight glass. So personally, since I just did repairs on there, and I know that there's still air in the system, I'm actually going to fill it up towards the top end, knowing that there's going to be some air that's going to escape out of those cylinders as we work them. So I'd rather it be slightly over full than under full. And we still got one cylinder that's leaking, but I've got to get this pile here in and settled, and get it so we can get Eli up in here and move this pile of dirt up on top of the hill. So we're going to come in here and smooth out a path for Eli to get up in there so we can get that dirt moved. So we've already got 10 gallons in. This is the 15-gallon mark. This repair got real costly. not knowing that your cylinder was leaking like that. Surprisingly, it didn't spray. I was expecting it to have sprayed all over the place, and it never did. It leaked straight down. Well, dang. Well, you get the idea. I'll fill it up and we'll get going. Alright, so we lucked out. She's actually coming up. That's all the oil I have. So we have just enough to be on the sight glass, which took 25 gallons in total. So that's a lot. So these here are pressurized caps, so you got to make sure that they're on. If that rubber gasket in there is gone, you can lose pressure in there, and I wasn't getting a good seal a while back, so I had to replace that. So let me get these back to the tractor so we can finish getting all the oil out of it. I'll drain them into one bucket with a funnel, and then that way I don't waste any.